All personnel, clear the launch platform.
All personnel, clear launch platform. Disneyland is your land.
The Leaving Today podcast, the show about the news, history, and attractions of the Disneyland Resort.
Disneyland is your land.
Well, come on, Wendy. Let's go.
But where are we going?
To Neverland.
Neverland.
Hello, and hello. Welcome to the Leaving Today podcast, episode number 208. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, this afternoon, this evening. However it is and whenever it is, we very much appreciate it. My name is Mark, one of the co-hosts here of the LTP. Sitting to the right of me today is the Trailmaster of Puppets, Udi.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Sitting to the left of me via FaceTime is Becky.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
What holiday are you referring to?
Yes.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, everything.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'm sure all of you have got your lists all out there.
Isn't it a little early, guys?
Not according to Costco and Target and actually Disneyland. Yeah.
I'm going to find a roof.
Well,
Anyway, happy holidays.
Welcome to the show. This is our 208th episode. It's brought to you by you, the listeners. That means this is a sponsored show by, like I said, you can do that via Patreon. We make it super simple. Just go to leavingtodaypodcast.com, click on the Patreon link, and it'll take you right to the portal there. We also have Instagram, and we have a link tree, and you can do it there. Something, if you feel like you want to do it, awesome. If not, we still love you anyways. We are, for those of you who are joining us as new listeners, we are a very open and honest Disneyland podcast. We love the parks. We want the parks to succeed, but sometimes we got to call it like we see it. But ultimately, we do want them to succeed. But so that's why we're going to give you our takes about all the news and whatnot. So today we have the news, and we also have a special guest coming on the show, Jon Justice, which we think you will like. You'll find him interesting.
Yep.
Yes, so do stay tuned for that, of course, and very stoked about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Got back from my trip. I'm feeling good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It was a
Okay.
good trip.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a good trip.
Got some nice sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Rolled around in dirt for 3 days, so it was a good time.
Okay. We can talk about
That's
that.
fun.
We can talk about that later. Listeners want to hear about Disneyland and all the news. So,
Not Depeche Mode.
they don't want to talk about your camping trip yet. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I do have
Fun.
something Disney related I'm doing soon.
Oh, what's this?
That I know you guys will not be jealous of. But I'm going to go to Disney Junior Live.
You're right. We are not jealous of that. Is that the ice skating show thing?
Speak for
It's
yourself.
not ice skating. It's going to be a stage show.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
I want to go.
Where is it in Stockton?
No, it's in Fresno.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
never mind. I don't go to
Uh-huh.
Fresno.
Yeah, Fresno, but Mickey and Minnie will be there.
Oh, great.
Spidey and his amazing friends.
Oh.
Super kitties. all
Sounds
the
like a
stuff
fun
that-
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for
all
your
the stuff
daughters, I'm
that
sure.
My kids like.
They're going to love it.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, I'm glad they're doing that, and and your kids get to experience that.
Yeah. 100%.
Great. What do we go from there, Duty?
I don't know. News, I guess?
Yeah, let's head on over to the news.
You listen to me now. You are talking about things that you do not understand.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Lots of changes going on in the parks as we speak, and I guess that's good. You want your park to be constantly adding and changing, right? Or do you not?
Well, yeah and no.
Maybe that's a good opening question.
Well, too late. We're past it.
Yeah, we cannot ask any
We
questions.
cannot go back now.
It's officially. No, we can start the news off with this real quick. I mean, does it make you happy that things are always under construction, or you're like, why is everything under construction?
No. Honestly, I don't like it. Well, let me put a caveat on that real quick. You can't have as much as you have going on right now. Like if you're going to do it right.
Yeah, do it and do it right. Hold on.
I think.
Go ahead, Becky. I'm sorry.
Well, those moments when it's under construction, that's the part it's the hardest because you can't see the payoff.
Yes.
But then once you see the payoff, you can maybe appreciate these moments more.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And you can always have fun at the park, even though there's construction walls on. I mean, your favorite attraction may be shut down, but dang it, there's so much other cool stuff to do.
There really is.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who goes and doesn't have a fun time, no matter what is happening.
I find it funny, the people that complain the most about it are the ones that are like the influencers that go all the time. Like, this is closed, and this is Tuesday. I'm just gonna have to come back on Wednesday and figure out what I'm gonna do. It's like, okay, well, but if you plan to go like with your family, and it's like, oh, all this stuff is closed, you guys. Gonna still have a great time. Just choose your own, adventure of how you're gonna live your day out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's times that you can make it more about seeing parades and shows. Maybe times you want to do like a food adventure and try out new foods and kind of go that route.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. I mean, or even just check out, like, I don't know, if you like plants and gardening and trees, and like there's always that stuff's always going.
Oh yeah.
Yes, like
that's a really good point. It is.
People don't focus on that stuff, but I know I do. When I look, I go, oh my, what are these flowers and how are they doing this? But then I get overwhelmed and I do something else. But anyways, I love it. It's just a part of the magic. It's all part of the magic. All right. So first news item: Sleeping Beauty Broken Spell Lounge opens last week at the Disneyland Hotel. Disneyland has announced that the new Broken Spell Lounge, based on Sleeping Beauty, will open at the Disneyland Hotel starting. Oh, this is last week, so I'm kind of reading it a little bit different. Here are the announced details and a look at the offerings. If you dream a thing more than once, it's sure to come true. On October 21st at 7 p.m., the lobby lounge at Disneyland Hotel becomes the enchanting Broken Spell Lounge, which draws inspiration from the Walt Disney Animation Studios film Sleeping Beauty. So this is what used to be Steakhouse 33 Lounge. And Jay had brought this up at some point, and Wendy and I went and looked at it and actually talked to the hostess there, or server.
Yeah.
And we didn't, like I said, we didn't go have a drink or dessert there, but I definitely put it on my mental map, like, okay, sometime we got to go check this out. And I immediately thought of Udi. I go, Udi would probably like this place a lot.
Yep. I like the vibe.
Yeah. And, and I thought my girls would probably like it. Looks like there's a nice drink there for Udi. I don't know what that is. It could be an old fashioned. No, I don't know what that flower is inside of it.
It is not.
Okay. But it's just like this cool vibe lounge, and it's right next to Goofy's Goofy's kitchen. So I would not let that distract you from going to this place, because Goofy's kitchen can be loud, full of kids running around. But this place opens at 7 and goes until at least midnight. So the kids won't be around there. But
it's a totally different vibe than Goofy's kitchen.
Yes, it is, even though they share a common wall.
Yep. I feel like next trip we can go close the evening there. You know what I mean? Like we'll go to Trader Sam's one, and then we can go to this one for another one, type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yes, because these. I'm sorry, I stalled because where are they in relation to each other? There's a hop, skip, and jump away from each other.
Correct.
I had to quickly do my map of where it was.
I'm like, one's there, and one you go a little bit further, and it's right over there.
You basically have to cross the pool.
Yep.
Udi knows. Udi knows what's up.
I know what's up.
So just a quick look here. They've got chicken wings, truffle fries, Caesar salad, toasted quinoa and baby kale salad, a pizza, different pizzas, a turkey club. I love club sandwiches. A cheeseburger, steak frites, molten chocolate cake. Yeah, I didn't know about that. That's what they talked us to about when we were there, is they do have dessert. And there's a full bar. They make whatever you want. Now that picture, is that steak frites? Mm-hmm. It is?
I believe.
It looks like it's a New York steak over asparagus or something. Sorry.
Strips.
Yeah, that New York strip steak. Yeah, French fries,
Yeah,
demi
French
glaze.
fries and a demi
That's why it's $42, my friend.
Did you see French fries there?
Yeah, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, behind it, and then there's a salad.
Oh.
That looks so good.
That looks great. Holy
the
cow.
Pizza looks really good
They
as
have
well.
a charcuterie. That's the charcuterie pizza.
Oh.
It's nothing but a 3-meat pizza. But hey, at least it's got a cool name.
You know what, dude? Now that you brought that up, I think you were spot on. You were spot on because when you and I go, we'll stay at the Eden Rock. And we can go to Trader Joe's. Sorry, we can go to Trader Sam's. Yeah. I always get those confused. We can go to Trader Sam's,
Yep.
get some stuff there, and then go have a little nightcap at the Broken Spell Lounge.
Yep.
And then Eden Rock is
there.
not even a 10-minute walk from. Okay, cool. Done and done.
Done and done.
All right.
The lounge looks absolutely
It
beautiful.
does. It looks amazing.
Yeah, and I think there was someone. Is there a piano there or something? There was someone playing lounge music when we were there, or maybe they rolled it in for something. But anyways, it's cool. I like the vibe, and I wish they had done this sooner because I'm digging this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you listening to this episode and planning your next Disneyland getaway? Of course you are. You're a member of the LTP. Well, don't worry about your stay. We've got you covered. Check out our good friends at the Eden Rock Hotel. You can visit their website at EdenRockAnaheim.com and enter the code EdenMagic for 30% off your stay. That's EdenMagic. Now go back to planning the stuff that really matters. And yes, a churro is acceptable for breakfast.
All right. Next news item is here we are in November now. Forecasting for 2025 is 3 Disneyland After Dark events confirmed to return in 2025. The Disneyland Resort webpage for Disneyland After Dark was updated to reflect which of this year's events will return again. Of the 4 2004 themes, Disney Channel Night did not make the cut. And then the description reads, "The special salute to beloved shows has concluded. We hope you enjoy the festivities." Okay, so far they've got 3 different themes coming up for 2025 for Disneyland After Dark. We've got Pride Night, Star Wars Night, and Sweethearts Night. So all saying that these will return. And let's see. People may be asking what Disneyland After Dark events are. They are themed nights, separately ticketed from regular park admission. The events include special entertainment, rare character meet and greets, themed food and beverages, exclusive merchandise, and more. The events take place after the park closes, but guests can enter up to 3 hours before. They often sell out, and ticket prices in 2024 range from $139 to $169. So Pride Night was held on 2 dates in 2024. Typically offered in June as part of the Pride Month, which celebrates LGBT plus history and progress. Characters dress in special rainbow outfits for a cavalcade and meet and greets. There's some rare characters have appeared, such as America Chavez, and I don't know who that is. I have no idea who America Chavez is.
Marvel character.
Okay. Sweetheart Nights takes place in January and February, and a lot of the offerings are themed after Disney couples, including meet and greets. The cavalcade featured princesses and their princesses. You get Indiana Jones and Marion and whatever.
I like that.
Okay, cool. And then Star Wars Night, which happens to probably be like the most popular of the 3 that I've seen. Actually, typically offers the most dates each year, and they coincided with the extended Seasons of the Force event. They're usually scheduled around May the 4th, and dates before and after. And so you get some of the rare characters from Star Wars universe in there. Themed food and highlights of the events. My take on all this is I like the idea of doing Disneyland After Dark. I haven't seen one really that gets me going, that I really want to go. If there was like Jungle Cruise night or Adventureland night or Frontierland night, I might be more inclined to go.
Right.
But just these three themes don't really appeal. I mean, Star Wars, I've been to Seasons of the Force, and I don't get a whole lot out of it. I know some people might like it, and that's great. But I don't. The thing is, I don't get jazzed about seeing special characters. Do you?
No, I don't either. I never have. I've never been a character guy anyway. I mean, I have pictures of the characters, and we took them in the moment because we were with people. But as a whole, no. A character meet and greet is not my cup of tea.
I mean, yeah, and it's like I'm not trying to make fun of it. I just don't understand it. For kids, it's great.
Oh no, absolutely. It's connecting the imagination with reality. So I get that part of it, but it's just not my thing. For kids, 100%. You know, seeing their character that they've only seen on TV or in a movie or whatever, and then seeing them in front of them, imagination. You know, it sparks imagination. So I get why they do it. I'm glad they do it, but it isn't. It's just not my thing.
It isn't my thing. I mean, I don't think I'd spend $139 for this or whatever. But if someone gave me a ticket,
I'd go.
And I bet you the energy would be incredible at any of these events. Like, because
without a doubt,
because people that are there like whatever it is they're celebrating,
exactly,
and you go, okay, and you get joy from that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Becky, is there anything that, like, do any of these three get you going in a positive way? Like, hey, I'd like to do. I'm clearly Star Wars is not going to be for you, but
yeah, not necessarily. I mean,
okay.
I guess now because I can't go to the park as often.
Okay.
I don't need none of these nights would I make a special trip to go down there for and go. I have seen people post Pride Night, and if that's something you're celebrating, I could see how it would be pretty unique.
Yes.
Because I don't have everything offhand, but there were a lot of unique things that they had going on.
Yeah.
So that would be special. Sweethearts Night. I do know people who've gone to Sweethearts Night, and it sounded fun, but I mean, then it doesn't move the needle for me necessarily to go.
No. Actually, I know my daughters and I went to Villains Night a few years ago, and that was really fun.
I was going to say, now that I think would move the needle for me.
Yeah.
Because with the Halloween party, I love that they have unique villains out there. Like they have Sid, Hades, just different. I love that.
Yep. And it was fun. I mean, the girls got a kick out of it because one of my daughters really likes the villains a lot. And so it was she really wanted to do it. So we did that. And, but yeah, for the most part, it would take a lot for me to go, oh, I'm going to go check this out. Because the thing is, though, I think if I went on one of these nights, I would probably just end up doing the same stuff I normally do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be going, okay, you guys can go check out Han Solo. We're going to go on Big Thunder and whatever it is. You know, I wouldn't stand in line for a special churro or a special, you know, I don't know, galactic hamburger or something.
Yeah, aside from, like, I can see Pride Night kind of being like a June thing, of course, but like the Sweetheart Night and even Star Wars, I could see staying around where it is. But like, I guess the Sweethearts Night, I wish maybe they'd change it up every year.
Oh, sure.
And do something different. Like the Disney Channel night, I do know people who went for Disney Channel night as well, and I think if you're of the generation that watched the Disney Channel and had kind of like in that time frame it's talking about, which is like I think probably early 2000s, that was pretty cool. And so you could do different stuff, so maybe unique things like that,
for sure, absolutely, might
move it a little more.
For sure. You know, why don't they have if they have like an Indiana Jones night?
Well, that would fall into like adventure, the whole like, you know, the explorer.
The sea. Yeah.
Adventure night. I would think Adventure night would be popular.
Oh, I think it would be too.
Day.
Yep, absolutely.
I would think that would sell out. Something maybe around the princesses.
Oh yeah,
I'd enjoy
for sure.
But it's cool that they're having this.
Yeah, absolutely. The more, the merrier. Oh, you know, if they did like a 60s night again or a 70s night, I might be into that.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
But they got to bring back like 60s and 70s prices, like, you know, 35 cents for a Coke or something like that. Or
all in. I'm like, let's go.
No, that'd be amazing. I do wish that we had a Christmas party.
Oh, wasn't there?
Disney World does a Christmas party.
Yeah, there is. I think they tried that here once, right? Didn't they? Or am I mistaken?
I don't remember.
Well, it sounds familiar. I mean, I know Walt Disney World had theirs too. Yeah, I don't know.
You wouldn't?
Yeah, I could be talked into that.
Yeah, well, and here's my
yeah.
mindset with it too. Okay, special ticketed event that's around Christmas, holidays, season, that is special. But also, it is so busy during Christmas time there that I think having a special event where tickets sell out, there'd be a lot of benefit to that. You might get to enjoy things a little bit more.
I agree. Yep. I totally agree, and especially for me, like, since my annual pass is blacked out during most of December anyways, I could go, well, I'll spend $150 and get some people to go and spend the evening there. I could absolutely see myself being talked into that, going, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Okay. Well, good on Disney. I assume more Disneyland After Dark events will be announced. I think there's going to be they have 3. I bet there's probably going to be 4 or 5, I would imagine. So we'll see how they go.
If any listeners go, show us your pictures and tell us about it. I'd love to hear more about them.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
The actual experience being there.
Yeah, for sure. Next news item is a new Bayou Country sign greets visitors as they walk by Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Yeah, so gone is the Critter Country sign. Enter Bayou Country sign. I think it looks spectacular. Very, very vibrant colors. We've got these are kind of critters, aren't they? Mm-hmm. So why is this not Critter Country? I don't know. Anyways, but it does look great, and it looks very like playful, welcoming. And I think we know the guy that does those signs, and we'd like to have that guy on the show. So we reaching out to him because those are done up by us, up in Nevada City.
Yep.
And the guy that does that.
Yep.
But I think it looks. What do you think? What do you think, Becky?
I think really the entire front area of Tiana's and adding that sign, it looks beautiful.
Oh yeah, it absolutely looks beautiful. So we're looking at a picture of the whole splashdown, what used to be Chickapin Hill. Now it's complete. It looks like a swamp. It looks perfect. Yeah, I mean,
like the moss. Is that moss growing on the sign?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's great. And full disclosure, I have not seen a POV yet of this attraction.
Neither have I.
Becky, you have?
No, I didn't end up doing it.
Okay.
I know. I told the guys and Jess that I was, and then I couldn't do it. I started it, and I just want to see it in person.
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, just the visual aspect of it, the Imagineers, they did a wonderful job with this. It looks great. And this is just, we're looking at a daytime picture, and I'll post it on Instagram. Not that, it's unique to us. I'm sure if you want to look, you can go find it yourself. But yeah, so let's talk about that real quick. Tiana's Bayou Adventure they will utilize virtual queue upon opening at Disneyland. When TBA opens to all guests November 15th, that's in less than 2 weeks.
That's the day everybody will listen to this episode, right?
What day is the 15th?
Is it a Monday? Oh, never mind. It's a Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. Yeah, so, whatever that is. Okay, Friday. So that's, about a week and a half from now, I suppose. Mm-hmm. The attraction will utilize a virtual queue for guests looking to ride. The virtual queue will only be accessible via the Disneyland app. A standby queue will not be available during the attraction's initial opening days. It's worth mentioning that the attraction still does not utilize a standby queue in Florida and outside of ticketed after-hour events. Like Disneyland After Dark is what we're talking about. So if this happened to be running during that. Like the Christmas party and Halloween parties out there in Florida, they are not even using a standby queue then either. And I should say, when we were at Disney World last year, Tron was virtual queue, even for the Halloween party we went to, and that's how we got on during the Halloween party. So They were still doing virtual queue then. So I understand. The virtual queue will be open twice daily at 7 a.m. and 12 p.m. Guests can also gain entry to this attraction by purchasing Lightning Lane Multipass.
Don't do it.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Well, that's just a pull. I don't think you should buy any of the Lightning Lane, whatever variant they're selling.
Anytime that comes up, I'm just going to say the same thing coming out. You're going to hear the same thing. Don't do it.
Well, they're talking about the one that's not $400.
No, still, though, none of that.
Okay.
None of that. Don't support that system.
Okay. Digital downloads of guest Tiana's Bayou Adventure attraction photos will be complimentary at the ride's opening. Attraction photos are also included with the purchase of Lightning Lane Multipass and PhotoPass Plus one day. What was I going to ask? Oh, this goes back to the previous question about virtual queue versus standby. Are you both glad they're doing virtual queue, or do you want to say, hey, I'm going to pay my ticket, whatever, I'm going to go stand in line for 5 hours because that's what I want to do?
Well, I'm of the mindset that the virtual queue makes sense at the beginning, okay? To an extent. But the problem with Disney is that they just let it keep on going well beyond what they should. And I'm of the mind also that we don't need it. You don't need it. Like, let people make that call.
Yeah.
Let people make that call. If they want to stand in line for 4 or 5 hours, then let them do it. Like, what? Why? Like, let them do it.
Well, do you want guests creating blockage for the?
I don't care. They do it anyway. They do it anyway. Disney's good at the circular flow, yada yada. Yeah, it gets annoying, but it happens in the park regardless.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to go to a Fantasmic or the parades or whatever, it happens already. So to me, I would prefer people not be stuck in their phones trying to do things through their phones and take in the park for what it is.
Oh, for sure.
It's a visual thing, like in front of you. Live in front of you, not through your phone. Mm-hmm. So that's my issue with most of the stuff. It's like, just enjoy the park. And if it's in the line, we did it before, people can do it again. And I don't, and for whatever reason, I don't, if Disney has their things all lined up properly, a 4 and 5 hour queue time is probably not going to happen. A 3 hour queue line, okay, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. But even then, let people decide.
Yep.
I agree. I don't like the virtual queue. For a couple reasons. I feel people should get to decide if somebody wants to wait that long, or if this is something that excites them so much that might be the whole reason they're even going to the park that day. I think they should get the opportunity to ride it and stand in line. Mm-hmm. But I'm not a fan of the virtual queue. However, I would say I would maybe purchase a Lightning Lane to be able to ride it.
If it meant that much to you.
If it meant that much to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not saying me personally, but I feel like it is a way in which they are getting people to do that.
Yeah.
And I can understand it if you're only going once a year, and this is something that means everything to you, and you've maybe even planned your whole trip around going on this. I can see it. I don't think it's right.
No, I don't think it's right.
I can see it.
But that changes the priority. Then that's a priority. So that means that people are making that their priority.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but I can
tell they're making that choice is what I'm saying.
But I can tell you this with 100% certainty: if that morning, see, this whole virtual queue adds another layer of like anxiety. Like, oh, I have to be there. I have to get there. Oh shoot, I didn't press like the join in time.
Yep.
And I can what I can say is I was gonna just prior to that was if Rise of the Resistance, when it opened, we were lucky to get a virtual queue boarding 47 or something like that, whatever it was, 46. If we did not get on a virtual queue and they offered a Lightning Lane for like $20 to ride it, I'm going to guarantee you that we would have had at least a discussion about it. Like, okay, well, we didn't get in.
We would have.
And we would have said, okay, it's $20. So Annika was with me that morning, so we probably would have done it. And I probably would have said, okay, well, we're going to try and do it. And then Udi probably would have said, okay, fine. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
At
I don't
that
know.
point, I don't know. If Seth said, yeah, let's do it, then you would have been okay. Yeah.
Like if everybody's going, then I'm not going to drag my heels.
But, no, I know. But, yeah.
I could picture my husband being like, just buy the Lightning Lane. if he's already dealing with my anxiety in the morning to try to get there on time and have the kids up and ready,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like, just buy it. Like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, because you don't need that extra layer of nonsense in your day.
No.
Okay. All right. So next news item, Disneyland Railroad reopens with Tiana's Bayou Adventure narration. As guests pass through Bayou Country, formerly Critter Country, this is what they hear. We're now entering the Bayou, home to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Take a sneak peek at the big party Princess Tiana's throwing. Where the welcome is warm, the music is hot, and the company is sweet as honey. And when it comes to sweetness, the inhabitants of this land we're passing over are the bee's knees. Here in Bayou Country, you can join Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Louis the Alligator, and other beloved critters on their fun-filled adventures. As we steam past the Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree, we're now joining up with the rivers of America and entering the frontier as it looked more than a century and a half ago. Okay, that's the spiel. Great. The window looking into TBA has not been opened yet, as the ride is still in previews. The window will be uncovered when the ride officially opens again in November 15th. There are also updates to the rest of the railroad scenes. Between Main Street USA and New Orleans Square, a panther figure has been moved back to its rock. Since the early 2018, the panther was off the rock and behind a tree, allegedly due to guests trying to touch it. Lending prudence to this fact is that the panther is still pretty far back on the rock, further back than it was in 2017. Between New Orleans Square and Toontown is a new trestle bridge. Is a new trestle bridge over the rivers of America. So that bridge is there, but the entire span of the track has been replaced between Toontown and Tomorrowland.
Okay.
And then there's also new greenery under the monorail track. The final updates are in the Primeval World diorama on the last leg to Main Street. Lightning and projections are in the tunnel were upgraded. Other effects received TLC. The rubber face of the Brontosaurus has been fixed, and the splitting effect has been restored.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Yeah. According to cast members, this was the first of 4 3-month refurbishments planned for the railroad in the next year and a half. During the refurbishments, the entire track will be replaced. Okay, so this is good. I mean, it sucks that the Disney Railroad was down when I was there, but this is the needed maintenance for this attraction. So, yeah, track is being replaced. Things are being touched up, and it's great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy they did all that. That's good.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Okay. Next news item. Magic Key sales to resume November 6th. That is going to be Wednesday, I believe.
Goody. Goody.
Yeah. Disney Resort is set to resume new sales of Magic Key passes next week. All 4 levels of Magic Keys will be available for sale no earlier than 9 a.m. on Wednesday, November 6th via the Disneyland website. Buyers can enter the virtual waiting room no earlier than 8:45 as a returning feature. Prospective buyers can sign up to receive an email.
It.
What?
Sorry. No, I'm yelling at Disney.
I thought you wanted me to stop reading the news.
No, stop this.
Okay. As a returning feature, prospective buyers can sign up to receive an email notification when it's their turn to purchase. That wasn't available when I did it the first time. So Disneyland has intermittently taken these on sale and off sale through the past year, with the last sale ending in June. Magic Keys have sometimes sold out in under a day during past releases, which is nonsense.
It's stupid.
It is stupid. Of course, the cost has increased a little bit. So the Inspired Key is $17.49. Believe Key is $13.74. The Enchant Key is $9.74. Exclusive, and then the Imagine Key for SoCal residents is $5.99. How this impacts me is I do have the Enchant Key. It was $8.49 when I bought it. $8.59. Now it's $9.74. All right.
I have a question. Do we know if anything changed as far as blackout dates?
No, I have not seen any. I don't think.
That's good.
Yeah. Like more blackout dates?
Right. Yeah. I guess I hadn't read anything, but hoping that they didn't increase the price and then
No.
take any days, or it'd be great if they added some days.
Sure. Yeah, I think with mine, they don't allow me to go into Adventureland or Frontierland, nor can I use the bathrooms on Main Street. So I got to just, as soon as I go in, I got to run over to Tomorrowland, use the bathroom, and then I can ride Space Mountain and Finding Nemo. Yeah, that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to see if I can maybe get an upgrade because it's been kind of inconvenient to say the least. All right. Last news item is 5 additional attraction closures for the holiday season. Why not? Disneyland will close 5 attractions for seasonal refurbishments during the busy winter holiday season, just as Thanksgiving and Christmas crowds descend on the Anaheim theme parks. So, I know it sounds kind of funny, but it really isn't that big of a deal. Fantasmic, Big Thunder Mountain, Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure, Sailing Ship Columbia, and Dumbo the Flying Elephant will temporarily close in November as part of this standard refurbishment schedule at DCA and Disneyland. The 5 new attraction closures join Splash Mountain, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, It's a Small World, and Pixie Hollow. But these aren't really going to be long closed. I mean, most of these, like the Little Mermaid is going to be closed for like 3 weeks. Fantasmic is going to be going dark on weekdays in November and December, except for Thanksgiving week as the nighttime.
I wonder why.
So they're gonna keep it dark during the week, except for Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. I don't know. They've done that in the past during the winter.
I know, but I always question it. I always question it. Like that is an attraction. That's a reason to come to the park.
It is.
Why would you remove it? I don't know. I mean, maybe they have a good reason. I mean, it's not even for me. You know me. I don't like these shows. Well, it's not my thing, but
yeah.
I wonder why they do that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mikey.
Well, I don't know necessarily why they do that. I guess my initial mindset goes into maybe not as busy those days, or they're trying to appeal. But during the holiday season, every day is pretty busy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think this year is going to be different. I just have a feeling.
It's going to be crazy or less crowded.
Less crowded. Less crowded. I was looking at a video today about, and they were tracking the wait times in this is Disney World. And over the last 2 years, it has been a precipitous drop. And I'm curious, like how that's if Disneyland proper is feeling that.
I don't know. They might be.
I don't know.
Well, anyone who's
listening. I did also just think of something. Maybe because to accommodate cast member holiday vacation time.
That could be.
Or am I just thinking?
No, I think
too far into it.
I think you're thinking. Honestly, I think you're thinking way too far into it.
Okay.
Because a lot of them are part time anyway, and
okay.
They'll rotate around. I mean, I don't know with whatever the contract was and everything that got dealt with this year, how that may affect things. I don't know because I didn't look into it, but I don't know. I just to me, I feel like Disney right now needs to do everything they can to pull people in.
Yeah.
And when you do stuff like that, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. And I don't know. They can't look at the pre-COVID era and operate with that. Where, well, okay, people are going to be at the park, blah, blah. They know it's not like that. So, again, without going into the thing that I always go off on, they need to do better and do more than less.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you listeners who are actually going to the park during the holiday season, number one, I'm envious.
Have a great time.
But if you're there when Fantasmic is dark, do not fret because they're going to run the Mark Twain until dusk and maybe do 1 or 2 runs after dark. And if you've never done that at night, it's something else, man. It's a nice perspective to see the rivers of America lit up from the shores. From that perspective, New Orleans Square, and now you're going to see Tiana's Bayou Adventure in all of its crazy colors over there. Take advantage of doing the Mark Twain at night. Honestly, it's wonderful. Yeah.
I do have to say too, as much as I love Fantasmic, I've gone during the holidays actually quite a few times, and it is such chaos there after Fantasmic when the park is already full, should it be overly full again, to the point that you are just stuck doing nothing. I feel like as people are getting out and like that transition, or they stand up and kind of watch the fireworks show from there. So I don't think it's such a bad thing without it going.
Oh,
Well, I guess I'm saying to listeners, if you're there when it's not going, like, enjoy it.
yeah.
Like Mark
Yeah.
said, enjoy those aspects, because I do think that there are some kind of downfalls,
Yep, for sure.
like during the holiday time of year.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so Dumbo the Flying Elephants could be closed for one day. That's not a loss for anybody.
That's not bad.
No. What else? Pixie Hollow. I don't know what they're doing with that. I don't
either. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on what they're doing with that.
I have no
And
idea.
I'm really curious. Like, is it going to stay? It's going to stay Pixie Hollow,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Just updates.
right.
Small World will be open for the holidays. It's just down
Yeah, to
while
get
they're
that.
getting that ready.
Sure. So, I mean, that's really it. I mean, I'd be curious to know what they're going to do with that whole. I don't know. I'm not going to go on a jag, but the whole front entrance to Tomorrowland, and I consider that Pixie Hollow as part of that, like adjacent to that. It just needs a little work. I don't know what. I have no idea what the theme is or what they've got going on, but I guess we shall see how that turns out.
Yeah, I am curious because I feel like that area just lacks a spark.
Yep.
You know, like when you walk past it. So I do feel excited that they're updating something.
Yes, I do too.
Well, I mean, with that aspect, that's not really Tomorrowland. We aren't at the ages. I mean, soon we'll be at the ages, my kids, of probably wanting to go to Pixie Hollow, but so far, no.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
there yet.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so that's going to wrap up the news for 208. Unless either of you had anything else to talk about, want to discuss?
I don't. I'm just gonna go back on the Magic Key thing one more time.
Okay.
Because I just feel like it's annoying to me right now, and I'm annoyed by it all.
Okay.
That I don't think Disney's got it yet. That the artificial scarcity isn't helping. It is now become a thing of annoyance, I think, for most people. So I'm not going to go off on this big thing, but I just want to say I'm annoyed by that. And anytime I hear that, I'm annoyed by the process. I think it's wrong, and I think it's completely way overcomplicated.
Yeah.
And it would behoove Disney to rethink that process.
Okay.
Also, news came out about this last week about the successor to my favorite guy, Mr. Iger.
Oh, is it?
That they have brought in somebody from J.P. Morgan, I believe is, or another, and it's increasingly looking like they're going to go outside of the company to find a successor, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's a very. I'm giving a very. That's the short version of it. But if you guys want to, there is information out there. And now they're pushing back the successor. They're saying they're going to have by the end of next year. Now they're saying they won't have it till 2026.
Oh.
So we were talking earlier about in some previous episodes about is it Dana Walden?
Dana Walden, yeah.
Who is currently the head of television. It's looking with that move, a lot of people, and I'm one of them, who are beginning to think like, maybe she's not in the running after all.
Maybe not.
And to me, that'd be a good thing for Disney. We shall see. I think with the events that are going on this week, which is it's election week. I know this will come out after. There are things. So by our next episode, which is going to be a great one, by the way, we're going to have a lot of things I think plotted a little bit more clearly with the future of the company and the park.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. Keep
That's
your
a
eyes
nice. Before we go to our future presentation, we talked about this last week, and I kind of want to end our discussion about one thing we're looking forward to, one thing we're not looking forward to, and one thing we're kind of questioning on. Okay, just so we can have that little balance. And I have no idea what your answers are about any of this stuff. So if anyone wants to go first, let's talk about. What do you want to talk about first? One thing we're not happy with, or happy.
Let's begin with the bad, so we can finish on a positive.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
So Becky, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll say one thing I'm not happy with. Would probably be, well, just with the park in general, with Tiana, specific to Tiana's, is probably just the virtual queue situation.
Okay.
I expected it, but I still just don't feel that happy with it. I don't like it. wish that we could go back in time and be able to wait in line if we want to and have that energy.
Okay, gotcha. One thing I'm not happy about is Lightning Lane Premier Pass. I actually have had quite a few people reach out to me asking me about it, and it's generating nothing but negative thoughts. Yeah. Like, oh, now I have to spend $400 to enjoy on top of my regularly high-priced ticket, and I go, no, you don't have to do that. But it's confusing a lot of people who just don't know, and that isn't their fault. They don't pay attention to the stuff. I don't blame them, but so I have to explain to them, no, you don't have to buy any of that stuff. You can just go to the park on a regular day and enjoy yourself. But it's creating a negative vibe for people, and I think it's just. I'm still upset that Disney thinks that they can actually offer this, and people, sure, some people will buy it, but the most part, people have questions and they're not very happy about it. So that's my negative thing for this one.
Can I actually piggyback something off of this?
No,
not possible.
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt or take us on a tangent. However, I did just have one of my friends do Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, and she paid for the upgraded pass, which is kind of equivalent, or what I would say would be the equivalent of that over at Universal. So you got front of the line.
Okay.
And it was around $400. However, it included her tickets into the park. It included a host who actually toured you the entire time you're there. And she said a phenomenal lunch/dinner.
Yep.
Like she said, outstanding food, all you could eat pretty much.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And a couple other things. So I did just want to point that out because, you know, you are getting a lot of perks with it over at Universal. And I'm not saying anybody should do it or not do it. However, I don't think it can compare then to Universal's because you get an entirely different experience over there.
Correct.
Yep.
Very good point.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
I can't imagine there's anything you're upset about.
No, I'm fine. Well, no, I just went on my tangent about that, about Magic Keys, and I'll leave it there. That's the main thing. That any time that I hear that, it's just like stop. And with any of the processes that they continue to put out, which would anything that does the pay to play. So artificial scarcity, pay to play, all these little things that they continue to do a nickel and dime are going to annoy me till the end. I mean, like Mark, you just brought up. So I'm kind of like going around with all you guys and then adding the Magic Key aspect to it is that the continued nickel and diming, people feel that. The vibe is off. It creates a negativity. It creates an unawareness, and it puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. Disney needs to walk away from that. They need to do what they can to be more inclusive with what they're offering. Most people will not have a problem with paying for more if they feel that they're getting the value for their dollar. And Disney isn't doing that right now. So listening to your story about your friend, like, okay, if I'm going to have an experience like that, it's like, here's $400. You get this, food, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, dude, that's a deal. That's an experience. You don't have that.
No.
So Disney can't say, well, we're going to charge you $400, but we're going to offer you 1/3 of that. And then people think that no are going to be like, wait a second. So that's the problem with Disney right now. So things are changing. They're still moving, but they're still in a bad spot. So yeah, they're still in a bad spot. So all those things, anything like that, is just going to it's going to irritate me.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right. Now, one thing we're kind of keeping our eye on, we don't know if it's going to be good or bad. We just kind of, this has got me interested.
TBA.
Yeah.
Yep. I think TBA is going to top most of our list, right?
Yeah. Well, do you want to go first, Becky?
Yep.
Yeah, actually, I'm right there with you on that. I'm really curious to get people's feedback. I want to know how it compares to Walt Disney World. I want to know how people are feeling about it.
Okay. Good. I'm going to be a little bit different. I'm going to say the Madame Leota's carriage house outside of Haunted Mansion, because I'm very curious about that. I shall watch its career with great interest.
Nice.
Just because I'm curious to see, much like how you say the reviews are for TBA, I want to see what it looks like when the walls are down. We talked about Sightlines earlier. I want to know how that's going to affect Sightlines and how our guests going to interact with this, store, and is it going to add to the story? And that's what I'm getting my eye on. And mostly I think it's going to be positive, but that's what I get my eye on that. Woody?
Yeah, no, TBA. I'm because you kind of go through everything. Them doing the west side of the park. So what you have, that kind of all ties together. TBA, now Bayou Country, and all that.
Yeah.
How is that all going to play? How is that all going to fit? And how's that all going to look? Because the other aspect of that is how will that play whenever we hear anything, if anything, about Disney Ford? Because we know that area is going to play a role in what's going on there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Like, how is that going to roll out? How is TBA going to be accepted by the park goers and then the land? And then how is that going to potentially roll into Disney Ford?
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Good answers. Now, what are we looking forward to? What's got us worked up happily about Disneyland right now?
I'm excited for holidays in the park for Christmas time. Even if I'm not going to get the opportunity to go this year, I love waking up, logging onto Instagram, and seeing people posting videos there. I love seeing the tree out and like the holiday festivities. I love seeing a video of somebody waiting in line for a candy cane.
Okay.
I enjoy that.
So you get a lot of joy out of other people's experiences at the park.
Yeah,
okay.
I do. And I know I have friends, like, even if they're not close friends, but just Instagram friends who are going to the park soon.
Yeah.
I enjoy seeing their videos and posts when they go.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Yep. I think right now that's got me the most excited about Disneyland is, and it sounds kind of contradictory to what I was saying earlier, but I like that all this construction is kind of wrapping up right now. I complained about it because there's too much construction, but I'm happy now that things are going to be wrapping up in the next probably month or so. The whole west side, Haunted Mansion and TBA is all going to just be spectacular. I mean, I'm hoping it will be, but that whole, like with the queue for Haunted Mansion and the carriage house and TBA just coming online, all that section is now going to be done, and I'm stoked about it. So I like to see, I guess, like when you're driving and you see the signs that say your tax dollars at work, even though I don't necessarily believe it.
I don't believe it at all, but yeah.
but but this is kind of what I'm thinking. Well, we complain about the prices, or I do sometimes.
We all do.
But so they actually are doing something based upon, Udi doesn't believe it.
No, I do the SCSC.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm excited that this is done, wrapping up, and of course I'm sure in January and February a whole new slew of stuff's going to happen as far as when we need to start working on that, whatever. So I guess I'm positive that that's construction done and we get to experience this stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm you pretty much took what I was looking forward to. I mean, finishing off the queue for Haunted and getting the carriage house all done is what I'm looking forward to, and having that, because that's going to be a major signifier of like everything being done construction wise. Last few trips to the park have been in pictures that we've all been seen, and when you guys have gone, there's been a lot of construction.
Yeah.
And regardless of anything, it takes away from the overall experience. So I'm with you with that once the scrim comes down and the fencing comes down, that you're going to have the park feeling more like the park and less like a construction zone with a park around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you guys think we're going to hear soon about what they're going to do for the 70th?
No. Well, no, you would think so, but I think, what is it, D23 and wherever it is right now, overseas somewhere, I think it's going to be this week that when this comes out, I forgot, like Japan or Tokyo, I forgot where it is.
Okay.
There's a D23 event happening.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Maybe something will come out of that. I'll be keeping an eye out for that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, with that, now that we'll actually wrap up the news. So now I want you to turn your focus to our feature presentation. We have a very special guest coming on. We hope you will like it. We know we do. All right, so let's go to the feature presentation.
And now for our feature presentation.
Okay, LTP family, welcome to our feature presentation. Today we have a very special guest on. He's never been on the show before, but he is someone who I've actually followed for the past probably, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years. He's got a couple podcasts that I listen to on various topics, and I found him to be very interesting. I've reached out to him several times. We've exchanged emails, and I come to find out that during one of the podcasts that I listened to, he actually talked about going to Disneyland and it being one of his favorite places on Earth. And that struck a chord with me because I go, okay, dude, we have the same interests, most of them. I think he's in the car racing. I'm not into that. I don't know anything about that. But mostly everything else he's into, I'm into. But when he said Disneyland, I go, we need to have this guy on. And I thought he'd be an interesting person to talk to. So welcome to the Leaving Today podcast. It's Mr. Jon Justice.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. It's not often I get to be on this side of things when it comes to doing radio and podcasts because I'm usually the host. So it's always a joy for me to be able to come on a show like yours.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, awesome. And you've got a great voice for broadcast. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I gotta work on mine.
well, hello there.
Hello there.
So, John, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you're doing now. Then we'll start talking about the most happiest place on earth.
Yeah, so I'm a radio talk show host. I've been in radio for 28 years now. I was born and raised in Southern California, so that's where the Disneyland part of me comes into place. The first 9 years of my career was doing rock and morning and afternoon shows, and then I transitioned into doing news talk. But I'm a nerd at heart. We were talking before the show sort of about our loves, and for me it kind of goes like Star Wars, Depeche Mode, NASCAR, and if I were still in Southern California, Disneyland would probably be in there. But they kind of all intermixed. So I started doing a Star Wars podcast years ago, simply because I consumed so much Star Wars information that I was like, you know what? I'm already doing radio. I kind of have the skill. I'll just do a podcast for my own enjoyment. And then I kind of did the same thing with Depeche Mode. There wasn't a weekly Depeche Mode podcast, and it kind of has drifted in and out over the years based off of when the albums have come out, but the show's taken off in popularity, so now I've consistently made it a weekly show. But I have sort of a side project called My Nerd World that I put all my stuff underneath. My Star Wars and my Depeche Mode podcasts are underneath there. But and then I also have written a science fiction series, a 7-book science fiction series, which has ties to Depeche Mode and Disneyland that we can get into as well. So,
okay.
So that's a bit of my background.
Okay, so Southern California. What station did you work for down there?
So by the way, I'm living in Minneapolis, Minnesota now. I'm married for 24 years, and I've got a 22-year-old and a 17-year-old, both sons.
Awesome.
So I worked for an alternative rock station that doesn't exist anymore in Riverside, San Bernardino.
Okay.
It was a KCXX X103.9. So I was born in San Dimas and then raised in Arcadia, Monrovia area.
I know that area.
For a while. Started off working for Cola 99.9 as a board op, which was an oldie station in San Bernardino, and then went to work for the alternative rock station, and then bounced around all over the country. I was in Tucson, Arizona, back to Southern California, back to Tucson, Michigan. I was in Grand Rapids, and then I went back to Tucson for 9 years, and then I've been up here in Minneapolis now for going on 9 years.
Okay, awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. So Southern California, Udi's from Southern California.
I am. I grew up in basically East Los Angeles, right in the hills above the Cal State East LA campus, and then moved out to Pico Rivera, so Monterey Park, Pico Rivera, Arcadia, Temple City, El Monte. Yeah, that's where I grew up. That was where my stomping grounds.
Yeah, it's all the same stomping grounds.
Yeah, no, you're talking. I'm like, oh, I know where that is. I know where that is. I know where that is. That's cool. Yeah, it's very cool. And that's where I got my love of Disneyland, too, because we went, multiple times a year. We were right there.
What's your favorite In-N-Out order, John?
Oh, boy.
Double cheese and ketchup only.
Double cheese and cheese and
ketchup only.
You don't have grilled onions, John?
He's like,
no, I don't take a grilled onion.
Okay.
Now, if I'm watching my weight, I'll go lettuce.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you hit 52, and it's kind of like, what am I doing? What do you do in your life?
There you go. We can still be friends. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
My 22-year-old he's a pilot, and he's training to be an airline pilot.
Oh, awesome.
He will go take commercial flights just for the fun of it. I hate flying. Yeah. He flies out to just get in and out.
I love it.
That is awesome. They're making their way across. I think there's some in Tennessee now.
I think they're making their way across. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometime.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's pretty funny, though.
That is very funny. Yeah, because it was a staple for us growing up. I mean, right? I mean, I had one on the way to high school. There was one that was on the road, and that's the In-N-Out that we always go through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay. Well, this is not an In-N-Out podcast, although we should have one. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
It all ties together, though.
It really does.
It does.
Part of the culture,
John. It does. L.A. In-N-Out Burger, Depeche Mode, of course.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. Well, we can't talk about that. John and I can talk about it, but you guys don't care about remixes and B-sides, do you?
No. Not when it comes to Depeche Mode.
You don't want to rank the B-sides from 86 to 2005?
Not for Depeche Mode. I'll do it for Metallica. We'll go all day long with that. But
John and I can talk about that.
Yeah.
Imports and everything. Dude, no one, John, listen to me. No one, you might be the only person that speaks my language with this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is stuff I live and breathe, and I go, whatever John's talking about, I absolutely get it. Absolutely get it. You talk about Monument. I have Monument in my room, and I read it daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the DM Bible.
It is. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Anyways,
I had no idea that.
Oh no, dude!
What the hell are you talking about? I have no idea.
But John knows.
Yeah,
okay.
No, okay.
But John knows. We could talk about why the singles for Memento Mori didn't come out as a physical copy, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible. I want to go down and get my.
Walking off.
What's that?
so your host is going to start walking off.
Have a good one.
Yeah, I mean, why aren't there physical releases? And where are the remixes? I mean, I actually liked some of the. And we're not going to talk about that right now.
You're keeping them going though. Okay.
I know people listen to the show. I'm going to talk about Disney.
Pull the cord.
Okay, so John,
all right.
Let's talk about your earliest. What got you into Disneyland? What was your first experience? And what ignited your passion for the park?
So yeah, I mean, being born and raised in Southern California, we would go as a family every single year. As I got older, getting into the 90s, I ended up I had an annual pass. Mm-hmm. I mean, this was back when you could still park in front of the park, and if you went late enough in the day, you could actually get yourself right there at that front spot, right up in front.
Oh,
right?
I remember it.
Speaking my, yes.
Oh yeah, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. I had an apartment that was just a few miles away from Knott's Berry Farm, and it was on the second floor. And again, this was not in the early 90s into the later 90s. I think. And from my balcony, you could see the fireworks going off every night off in the distance. One of my first memories as a kid, and I don't know how old I was, so this would have been pre Thunder Mountain, because I remember when Thunder Mountain was starting to be built.
Okay.
You guys probably know the years better than I do.
78, I think, when that came online. 78, 79?
Yeah.
79.
So I was born in 72. So you're probably looking, I was probably like 4 or 5 years old. But I remember my first memory was being dragged on Pirates of the Caribbean because I was terrified to go on.
Okay.
I had my aunts were just dragging me, and I was screaming and crying because I didn't know what it was, and I was a scared little kid.
Yeah.
But of course, you go on that ride one time. It's my favorite in the park. I actually go to sleep on occasion listening to the oboe theme that plays in a line queue.
You do?
On YouTube of it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we went every single year, and through Disney and Disneyland, it became a part of it was a part of my childhood, but then it became a part of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hadn't had a chance to go, and we can get a little bit into this. This was the longest stretch of time that I hadn't been to the park, because I'd gone every single year. And even as I got married and with my family, we were living in Tucson, but we would still get to take our boys out there every single year. And I still have family that lives in Southern California. I finally got back for the first time in 9 years over the last 4th of July holiday.
Yes, yes.
I went on the Monday after. So the first Monday of July, I think is what it was. And just, it was one of the greatest experiences. I mean, look, I've been there so many times, but having not been there in 9 years, I mean, I would lie. I would be lying if I didn't say when I walked through underneath the bridge of the train station, I wasn't in tears, getting back to the park again, just because I love the place so much.
Yes, that experience has spawned this conversation, because he talked about that on his show, and I go, "What? I had no idea this guy liked Disneyland." Yeah. And I go, "Okay, we got to talk." But you're absolutely right, John. I know it's been a couple years for Udi, but
coming up on 2.
But when it was shut down for COVID, and I think it took me 2 years to go back. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it. I had no idea, and we're still doing the podcast. And as soon as we walked under the train trestle, I'm like, "Oh, I feel home." Everything, and I did get a little emotional, but I wasn't in tears. But I was like, "Oh, okay." Now it hit me that
Yeah, well, we talk about it often on the show. Like, no matter how many times you're away from that and for how long. I mean, before COVID, then we were going. I had my pass, and we were going every other month. We've talked about it, and every other month, and that feeling going underneath the train trestle doesn't change. You just feel at home every time, and so the last trip I had, and this has been why a little bit. I mean, there are a few reasons why I haven't gone back to the park yet, but the last trip that I had was with my family. I had my brother, my mom, my nieces and nephews, and that was kind of a really special trip. Because it's the first trip we'd been back as a family since we lost my father. And that was part of the whole thing growing up. Mom, dad, everybody, cousins, the whole thing. And one of the reasons, I'm not going to go into the other part of Disney, why I'm mad at them right now. But the point is like the family part of it is so huge, and people don't always get that. So anytime we talk about this stuff, I love it, because this is the things that connect everybody, no matter where we are in the world. When we talk about you went on the train trestle, you started going down Main Street. How did that feel? And you feel like you're at home, and you're like, it never changes, but it changes all the same time. It's so weird.
It's
but
weird.
I love it.
And whatever angst you have for the company right now, I'm telling you, as soon as you go through, you're going to forget about it. You're going to forget about it.
It goes away automatically, and that's the thing. That's the magic of the place.
I have a brother that lives in Southern California. He's married, has his kids that are grown up. And, we're not close. Like I could spend hours with him, but we don't talk on the phone. It's just we just have a strange relationship that way.
Sure.
And when I went out to Southern California over the 4th of July, I was staying with my dad in Lakewood, and he wasn't going to go to the park. He's 80 now. He went recently, and he's like, I'm kind of done. So I was planning on going alone because I didn't realize that my brother had actually gotten annual passes.
Oh.
So when I told him I was coming out, he's like, we have annual passes. I'll mark the day off. And so
nice.
I was shocked that I was able to actually go for the first time in all this time with my brother.
That's awesome.
Whom I love dearly, and his wife and one of his sons, and to share this experience once again that I honestly never thought that I would have with him specifically, because it had been decades since I'd been to the parks with him. And I'll add one more thing to that. It was also really special because you mentioned COVID. We had saved up and had a whole family plan, the longest. It was like a 5-day stint. We were going to do both the parks. We were going to stay at the Grand Californian, the whole 9 yards, and it was attached to Star Wars Celebration at the same time.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
And that's when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And they shut everything down right before we were supposed to go.
Oh, man.
It was just absolutely devastating. So it made this trip over the summer even more special.
Yep.
That makes me happy to hear that. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to go into my story, but the same thing with my sister. We hadn't been in the park since '85. And she was there with us for opening day of Rise of the Resistance, and her and I are about as polar opposite as you can get. But and in fact, I saw her last night. She was just talking about how much she loved going with me and how much fun she had. And
that was a fun day.
Yeah, it was a fun day. But let's go back. So, John, it had been 9 years since you've been to the park. Tell us what. Well, actually, so Galaxy's Edge had been constructed and opened.
I want to know.
So, did you go for one day or a couple of days, John?
I just went for the one day.
Killing me, John.
I wanted to go back. I really did.
Yeah.
But the wife would have killed me because I think she was already. Because I went by myself to go visit.
Right.
Because she had to stay behind because we have a dog that's
sure.
high maintenance. So.
Is your wife
if I had gone a second day?
Is your wife?
She would have been obsessed. I just went one day.
Is your wife into Disneyland too?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's more of a Walt Disney World.
Okay.
She actually worked at Walt Disney World back in her college days.
Oh, awesome.
So
How fun.
we always fight over it because we always say we want to go, and she's like, "When you say go, you mean Walt Disney World?" Right?
There are,
no, I want to go to Disneyland. She worked at the parks for a travel agency. She was there for college for a while.
Okay.
And then she worked a bit for the travel part of it. And then we met in Tucson, moved to Southern California. She actually went back to work for the Disney Travel Company. Just outside, they had an office that was right where the AMC used to be because it's gone now.
Yeah.
You guys know that.
Yeah.
But there was like right around the corner from the AMC, they had some offices right in there. She worked right in there in one of those offices.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Well, there are no wrong answers if you're going to choose between Walt Disney World and Disneyland. I mean, both parks are charming. I mean, I'm more partial to Disney World. I'm more partial to Disneyland.
Proper.
But
Yeah.
I took the girls to Disney World last summer, and we had a fabulous time. But let's talk about the changes that you experienced at Disneyland after going 9 years. I assume, did you make a beat? Did you go? Well, tell us about your day. Did you go to Pirates first to rekindle that feeling, or did you go to Galaxy's Edge and check out your Star Wars stuff?
So we went for rope drop.
Yes.
Good man. Good man.
So that was cool. And then we made a beeline straight for Galaxy's Edge.
Nice.
Okay.
Because I was a fan of Star Wars before I was a fan of anything else.
Right.
I saw it when I was 5 years old. My dad took me to a theater in Temple City, no less.
No, wait, hold on a second. Which theater in Temple City, out of curiosity? Do you remember?
I have a photograph. I don't have it. I can't get it heavy. I have
come
a
on, John.
photograph of the marquee, but I can't remember. It was a something 6, but I can't remember the name of it offhand.
Because I'm pretty sure that's where I saw Batman for the first time in that same one, because there's only one in Temple City that was a 6, and that was it. I'm almost positive that's why you said Temple City. I'm like,
it's probably the same one.
I don't know what Temple City is. Where's that?
Such a small
It's in
world.
Southern yeah, that's why I'm like, holy crap, you said Temple City. I'm like, wait, I probably know exactly where you saw that. Anyway,
It's a small town in Southern California.
yeah, I mean, it's like I guess like a Roseville type thing where it's another
Okay.
like towns inside. Yeah,
Like a Citrus Heights.
Yeah. Like when you go through, you'll like hit like if you went down. Is it Rosemead? You went down Rosemead Street and you hit town. That's the way it was. So I would literally catch the bus and go up and down that street and hit like about 6 or 7 different cities.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
Small town, small, however you want to put it. Yeah.
Okay, so John and his brother and his
Sorry to
brother's friend
interrupt, I just had to ask.
make a beeline to Galaxy's Edge. Okay, so let's go. Let's pick up the story from there.
Yeah.
So there was a debate which way we wanted to go. If we wanted to go through Adventureland or go the other way, and it's not that important to the story, except for the fact that by the time we got in, we chose the wrong way because the line for Rise of the Resistance, which is where we were going first, had already grown really, really long.
Yeah.
But it provided me the opportunity as Heidi, my sister-in-law, she got in line for us, and my brother and I went over to see the Millennium Falcon.
Oh man.
And listen, even beginning to tell you the story, I'm starting to tear up. I'm not even joking.
I'm with you.
Because at that time in the morning, there was nobody else. There's hardly anybody there in that area.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you could walk on Smuggler's Run.
Right.
Yeah.
I almost told Jim, I said, why don't we sneak on Smuggler's Run? He's like, no, the line for Rise of the Resistance is going to go faster than you expect.
Yeah, true.
So we had about 5 or 10 minutes just to stand there and walk around and look at the Falcon. My brother used to be a special effects modeler for movies.
Oh, cool.
So he worked on Flubber, he worked on Armageddon, he worked on The Abyss.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
He knows about modeling, and we were just kind of sitting there talking and looking at the Falcon while we're there. So it just created a special moment. And so we were able to kind of do everything inside of Galaxy's Edge before we left and then went off to other parts of the park really quick. My brother Jim is self-employed now. He refurbishes old items from the parks that collectors have purchased.
You're kidding me. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So,
So cool.
he's done like signs, old signs from from the old hotel. He refurbished one of the bobsleds for somebody at one point in time. So that's what he does for a living now.
Okay.
Wow. Talk to him.
We got to talk to your brother, John.
Yeah, can of worms, right? I just kind of opened that up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's right, guys. You probably would be interested in this. So yeah. That's what he does.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so emotional seeing the Millennium Falcon. Same thing with us. I think it hit Udi a little harder than me, but I was like awestruck the first time.
Well, I can relate completely with the brother because my brother, I had that same experience with my brother because we hadn't been in the park. That while you're talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of me. I hadn't been in the park with my brother for probably a decade plus, probably right in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And then I had, and my brother has one of the, he treats the Millennium Falcon like a character. And so does his son. His son at the time was 8 coming up on 9. And we both, and I had the opportunity, I'd already been there multiple times, but I had the opportunity to see both of their reactions walking up. And my brother's an emotional guy. I've seen him cry twice. And he was welling up. And I just put my hand on his shoulder. I go, what do you think? He just shook his head. And was just awestruck. And then we focused on my nephew.
Yeah.
And my nephew's just like, oh my, his imagination just exploding as he saw the Millennium Falcon for the first time in real. And it was just an amazing experience. Yeah.
Okay, so thanks for sharing that. I mean, it hits us all.
Hey, by the way, guys, if you want, we can go to the top of the hour if you guys want to go. We can go to the top of the hour.
Okay.
So.
Oh, thank you, John. Yeah, see, this is how it always goes. We always end up talking about stuff, and it's
trying not to go off the rails.
Yeah, we're trying to go off the rails.
Okay.
But so you saw the Millennium Falcon, then you made it over to Rise of the Resistance.
Uh-huh.
And give us your thoughts about that.
That was one of the best rides I've ever been on. I was blown away.
Yeah,
I really was. My expectations were kind of neutral.
Oh,
I'm more of a vibes guy than a rides guy.
Understood.
I was impressed with the way that Galaxy's Edge was built. I mean, the structures themselves, I mean, they're massive.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that they built it out to really kind of make it feel like you're in a different place. I wasn't really expecting that. And then going on Rise of the Resistance, I'd watched some videos online of the ride-throughs and all that, but it was way more than I could have imagined. It really was. It was one of the best immersive experiences that I'd ever been on.
For sure.
I didn't have as good of an experience with Smuggler's Run. It was a little bit too video gamey for me.
Yeah.
I agree. The other one feels like Rise feels like a whole theatrical experience going through it.
100%. Absolutely.
Did you so you like the architecture and the design of Galaxy's Edge? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Did you build a lightsaber?
No, I didn't because I was saving my money, and I've got already some at home. I got one right up here.
Yeah.
No, I bought a couple action figures that I hadn't seen other places.
Okay.
And there was one item, the Wayfinder, I wanted to pick up at the Disney store out in downtown Disney, but I couldn't get it in my suitcase. So, I really tried to go old school with it. I shot just a few videos and just a handful of pictures.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be like it was when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And, we didn't have our phones and we weren't glued to the black mirror all the time. You just took it all in. And I'm like, you know what? I want this to be like that. I want the experience. I want to take it all in. And I'm so glad that I did it that way. I have the memories that I need, but most of them are here and here.
Absolutely. Did you make your way over to Thomas Sawyer's Island at all?
Did we go? No, we did not.
Okay.
We didn't. We had I wanted to get on as many rides as we could.
Yeah. Okay.
We were able to go on the boat. The
Mark Twain.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No worries.
We went on Mark Twain, which was cool, and it was cool to see how they rerouted it.
Yeah.
And some of the changes that they made with the addition of Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And then pretty much got to go on everything that we wanted to go on for the day, and just about closed the park down. I think we had an hour left, and I almost turned around because we drove 2 cars and went back in for that final hour, but my feet couldn't handle it. You know what? Let's just call it a day. We did the as we always did, and it's always just been I think most people do this. I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me. But, we took the train through the Grand Canyon and Primeval World to close the night out.
Yeah.
That's what we always did growing up. That's what I always did when I was younger going, and we did it again. And, it's just as special as it's always been.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I don't do that as my last ride typically, but I'll do it as many times as I can during the day, just because I love going on the train. Any particular snacks that you like to have, or places you like to eat there?
Usually, I like to get those the skewers outside of Jungle Cruise and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the Bengal barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the pizza place. It's not what it used to be when I was younger.
No.
But we still go hit the pizza place every time over by Space Mountain. So that's always the go-to as well.
There's only one other person I know that goes there, and that's Ricky, to the pizza place.
Yeah, I don't like.
I don't like going in there.
No.
But that, you know what, you do you. So pizza and Bengal barbecue. And so you have snacks. Is that like your meal, or do you go to some of the other restaurants there?
No, that's pretty much all we did. I mean, I think we snacked around while we were, while we were just kind of going through the park and whatnot. Grabbing various items here and there, or churro or whatever. But that's where we had the main meal for the night. And again, that just goes back to stuff that we did when we were younger.
Sure.
The pizza, the pizza port was a lot better when I was younger. And
for sure.
It is what it is now, but I still enjoy going there. And just being there by Space Mountain and we're being reminded of Captain EO. And
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what was like the biggest positive that you found after being there for 9 years, or like the biggest change besides Galaxy's Edge? I mean, what did anything strike you? Like, oh, this park has really changed.
I'm glad you asked, because I don't know if it was because of the amount of time that had passed since I've been, but I really noticed the juxtaposition between the old and new in a way that I hadn't before.
Yeah.
You go over to Small World, and it kind of hit me when we were waiting in the queue for It's a Small World, and kind of looking at everything and the artwork, and knowing this had been here for as long as it's been.
Yeah.
We had just gone on the new, and I can't remember the name, but the Mickey Mouse ride in Toontown.
Oh, what did you?
Railway.
What did you think of that?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But again, it definitely had a Disney vibe to it.
Yeah.
It was different, utilizing new technology, but it still felt like it belonged.
Yeah.
But the juxtaposition between, what they're creating now in terms of the ride experience based off of what came before it, especially for those rides that were originally from the World's Fair.
Yeah.
I really, it really kind of struck me, and not in a bad way, but it just got me questioning, what is the park going to be, 2 decades from now?
Oh, man, good question.
Love that.
That's the, because let's be honest. I mean, we're all getting older.
Yes, we are.
The park needs to grow for newer generations, and eventually those of us that are so attached to, what Walt built originally, we're not going to be here. So you wonder, what's the park going to be, in the future? And so that was probably the thing that stuck out the most, was just the juxtaposition between the old and the new.
Yeah.
No, and we could literally have a whole discussion, an hours long discussion about the future of the park, and we talk about it often. I mean, you bring up a great point. Whenever you go, that's one of the things for people who go all the time is like, what the new things, and how does that affect it? Because we've been talking about what they're doing with Haunted Mansion, the new queue, and then the new the new retail space, and we've been talking about it. How is that going to affect sightlines? How is it going to affect vibe? How is it going to affect feel? But you're right. I hadn't, you put it in a way that I guess I hadn't really thought about it. It's like, the new and the old, there's going to be stark contrast now because the vibe is different. And how do you, how do you marry the two? And how smoothly that's going to go. I mean, because we've been talking about Tiana's Bayou Adventure a lot and how that is changing and why they change it and how it's going to fit and all these things. But it does make a very interesting topic of discussion the inevitable evolution of the park and for who it's for.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of a tough one for us who've been going forever because we got to realize you got to kind of let go a little bit, of what's going on, and that's not an easy thing for us to do sometimes.
It isn't, and it's the same thing with. I mean, not to bring it into music, but you follow a band for 40 years, you have a certain expectation of what they're going to sound like, and sometimes they throw a curveball at you, like, where did this come from?
Yeah, Reload.
And well, yeah, for you it's Reload, Metallica. For us, it might be, I don't know. Are we going to say maybe Spirit or something, John?
Yeah, right.
Okay,
well,
but
Disney struggles with this in making the new Star Wars content. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Let's get into that real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like their attempt to sort of continue to capture, what's special about Star Wars while trying to bring in these new audiences, and it's not working on every level.
On every level, it's not working.
But let me ask you. John, let me ask you this real quick. Since you're a Star Wars guy and Disney guy, are you happy that Disney bought Lucasfilm, or are you not happy, or would we be getting any content if they hadn't bought it?
Oh, wow.
Well, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's hard because it happens. So I'm not a sequel hater. I actually enjoy the sequel films.
Okay.
I like what they put out.
Okay.
I enjoy what they put out theatrically.
Okay.
I liked The Mandalorian. Didn't care for season 3. I thought Obi-Wan Kenobi was a big miss.
Mm-hmm.
Book of Boba Fett.
Acolyte.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett struggled because Mandalorian became what Boba Fett should have been.
Yeah.
Acolyte was a big miss.
Yep.
So it's been hit or miss for me. I enjoy the films. I think that's where Star Wars belongs. But I didn't buy into the people that said that Disney would create too much content and ruin it, and I was wrong. And I don't believe they've ruined it, but they're having a hard time getting it back on track. And thankfully for me, it's kind of like the parks. It's like, well, if you don't like some of the newer stuff, at least for now, you can still go into the tiki room, and enjoy it. I can still go back and watch the other films if I want to.
Well, they definitely diluted Star Wars in a way that again, going back to the whole topic about us who hold on to the core of it, it's hard to see these new things. If we don't agree with it, we don't like it. But again, going back to it is we all can go to where we really like. So I'm an OT guy. And so literally I have, like, when I'm not feeling good, whatever, I just want to kill a day, what gets put on my TV? The OT. Like, I'm running all 3. I grew up doing that.
Yeah.
And so that's the positive side of what Disney's done with Star Wars. There's enough content out there that you can find what you like. And if you don't like it, you can ignore it. And I've sadly been doing a lot of ignoring, but I still have my wheelhouse that I stay in. So that's like exactly with the park.
Sure.
We talk about that, like, hey, if you don't like that attraction or whatever, you don't have to go to it. Go find the spot that you really like. Well,
that's true. And the other reason why, some of the content that they put out, I don't totally jive with. Like, as John said, I didn't like Acolyte. I thought Obi-Wan could have gone a lot further than it did. But the other side of the coin is that if Disney hadn't bought them, dude, we would never get to walk around in a Galaxy's Edge and see the Millennium Falcon. For someone our age growing up, John and I are the same age, I had never thought I'd be able to see this in real life. Mm-hmm. And holy cow, we get to see this in real life. We get to see, mountains and go on these Star crazy, adventures and go to Olga's Cantina and drink things like that. And it's like, we would have never got that, right? Yeah. So
absolutely. Oh, we did. And by the way, we did get to go to Olga's Cantina. I forgot. We did get a chance.
Pretty cool, right?
How did you like it?
It was okay. We had to share the booth with somebody else.
I hate that. Yeah,
it wasn't a bad thing by any stretch, but I would have. It was being in there. I was like, I'd love to be able to just go to a place like this, sit at the bar, have drinks, not have any stipulations, just like or any restrictions, or timetables.
Yes.
I know it's like impossible considering Star Wars and everybody wants to go, but I really like the aesthetic. I think they got the vibe right, and the food was okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that worked out well too.
Oh yeah, extra nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're up against the time now with John.
We do have some more questions to ask.
But we can reschedule some more time with you, John, at some later time.
Absolutely, I'd love to come back on, guys. We'll make it. We can make it happen again.
Okay,
awesome.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up this interview with Jon right now because we're up against time. But Jon will come back on the show when we can talk about more Disneyland stuff and Star Wars stuff. Jon, how can people find out more about you and get in touch with you?
So I had a website. I don't anymore because it wasn't worth it. So people can find me online. I'm on Instagram at Jon Justice, at the Jon Justice, and that's Jon. Also on X, you can find me at Jon Justice, and also at the My Nerd World. If you're interested in checking out my podcasts, you can find them under My Nerd World, either the Star Wars or Depeche Mode one. And then I've also written a science fiction space opera series. It's called Embark. There's 7 books in the series.
Embark.
It's available on Amazon.com. In ebook, Kindle Unlimited, hardcover, paperback, and audiobook, narrated and produced by me. It's set in the year 2172, where air and space flight culture has replaced car culture.
Okay.
I wrote the first book as sort of a love letter to all the genres that I grew up with. So the tagline is essentially, as Earth faces its end, the fight to rule the stars begins. It's about a group of young pilots training to one day venture out into the stars. And an industrial accident causes this apocalyptic chain of events. And the past of one of the female protagonists, her father who passed away, leaves behind essentially the key to saving humanity. I wrote the first book to start off on my space adventure, to kind of get off of Earth and then tell a sweeping space opera story set out in deep space.
Okay.
And so the first book is sort of a post-apocalyptic sci-fi space opera mashup that leads into a space opera. That being said,
okay,
real quick. So the first 3 books make up a trilogy, and then the 4th book is sort of a single adventure. It's called Don Corbin and the Asteroid of Misfortune. He's one of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
It is book 4 in the series, but it's kind of its own. And then the second 3 books are another trilogy. The 5th book is called The Rocket Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rocket Queen, the characters in the book return back to Earth after almost 20 years.
Oh.
And they find survivors living inside Disneyland after the apocalypse had taken place.
Okay. I got it.
So the whole about 3/4 of the book takes place in, they preserved the park. And because it weathered, I made it so that the park was able to survive what had taken place in the destruction of the planet.
Okay.
And so the survivors are living in the park, and I wanted to know what it would, I wanted to write a story inside Disneyland that brought my genres together. And what's fun about it is I bring in all the Galaxy's Edge stuff, and they go on the rides. There's people living inside the rides. And
what?
It's my favorite book of the series. And send me your guys' email address or your mailing address. I'm more than happy to send off copies to you. I think you'll all get a real big kick out of it.
Oh, absolutely. We will do that, Jon.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So 2172, I'm guessing Tomorrowland is not done yet, right?
Yeah, they haven't redone it yet.
It's still in
I was bummed out because they've made changes. Like, I got to go back and tweak some things, I think, because some of the stuff is dated now because some of the changes they made in the park. But I tried to leave it open-ended. But, they got people that are. So one thing, real quick, and I got a bolt. But I just wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
Whenever I would go on Pirates of the Caribbean, I would always think, man, it would be cool just to wander around inside.
Oh, dude.
And just be inside and write.
Yes.
Or just when I was younger, in my teens and early 20s, like, it'd be great to party inside here. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I ended up doing in the story, is I had those that are living in the park, they're actually living inside the rides. And so
that is awesome.
I think you guys would get a big kick. I'm a decent enough writer. I'm not the greatest.
The fact that you did it.
I'm happy to send you guys copies.
Absolutely. We will take advantage of that. Again, Jon, thank you so much for spending half an hour with us today. It means a lot to us to meet new listeners and meet a new friend. And I've said this before, anytime we have a guest on, we have Disney artists, Disney Imagineers, Disney historians, anybody that comes on the show, we have always found ourselves just in awe of how cool people are. Mm-hmm. And you are the same thing, Jon. So I'm happy we can talk to you finally. And you're very cool. We want to talk to you some more. Love to have you back on.
Yeah, open invite.
Open invite. And
thanks, guys. This was a lot of fun, and I'd love to come back on. We'll make it happen, and I hope everybody will take a moment to head on over to Amazon.com and look for Embark and Jon Justice and find the books there. I'm horrible at marketing, so I figured I'd push that out.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for having me on. This was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And if you're ever bored on your other podcast, you need like someone to talk about like
let's do it.
Remixes.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Oh, thank you. This makes me happy. I want to talk about this stuff. No one will listen to me. Yeah. Okay. Dude. Okay. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Thank
and we'll
you.
talk to you soon.
It was great meeting you guys.
All right. Great meeting you.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Here at the LTP, we know that you're always looking to plan your next Disneyland getaway. That's why our good friends at the Eden Rock Hotel are now offering a discount code to our listeners to offer you 30% off your next stay. That's right, 30%. It's huge savings. Go on to their website at EdenRockAnaheim.com, enter the code EdenMagic, that's EdenMagic, for 30% off your next stay.
Okay, well, wow, very cool interview talking to Mr. Jon Justice. I could have talked to him a lot more.
Yep.
It seems like we were just kind of getting the ball rolling,
I know.
I didn't realize how much we all had in common.
Oh yeah.
But I am glad that we can talk to just people, and I want to hear their stories. And I felt like he was happy talking about it, right?
No,
yeah.
And that's the thing is like you said at the end there. No matter how many people we talk to from all different ends of the planet, really. I mean, from all different walks and where they've come from. When we talk about Disney and we talk about how we connect with it, we all find that really cool, happy place where we're all having a good time.
Yes.
And they're great people and amazing people.
I felt like there's so many aspects about Disney that we could connect with them differently too.
Oh yeah.
Like we all could kind of connect on the family aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have the Galaxy's Edge aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many different things. He's a really nice guy.
Oh yeah.
His
Absolutely.
books sound great too.
Yeah, no, you guys need to go to Amazon and support that. Like
Embark.
Yeah, Embark. And we were looking at it. When he brought it up, me and Mark were looking at it. And yeah, please do. Like, if that sounds like it's your thing to go do, definitely go and check out his books and support. This is what we need to do in our community, right? We need to support good people.
Yeah,
and when
absolutely.
they're bringing out independent stuff like that are just done out of love and for the craft and for story, then let's support that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we'll put all the links on the show. So just, or at least on our Instagram when we post the show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Jon Justice. Thank you. So we added another one to the LTP family here. Yeah. All right. So that's going to wrap up episode 208. If you'd like to get in touch with us, send us an email. You can at info@leavingtodaypodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at Leaving Today Podcast. Go to, we have a link tree on there. If you want to support the show via Patreon, you get a t-shirt and you get to be on the show. And also, that's it. Just reach out to us if you feel like you want to talk about something. We're always happy to talk and maybe even have you on the show. Mm-hmm. Marcus, we need you back here sometime soon. I was just talking to you this morning. Mm-hmm. Get that going. All right. Becky, where can people find out more information about you?
You can find me on Instagram at Becky_Weimer, BECKY_WEIMER.
Awesome. Excellent. Udi, for more witty banter, where can people find you?
You can find me on my socials, mainly Instagram, and a little bit on Twixer. It is both the same handle, HAXGOALIE, Hacks Goalie.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning, this afternoon, this evening. We hope we brought a smile to your face and made you think, made you laugh, made you get frustrated, whatever. Just let us know. Until then, we love you, adventures out there, and we'll see you in the parks.
Bye.
See ya.
Cheers.
All right. Okay. Sorry. Now that I cracked it. You pushed the wrong button.
I did. I pushed the wrong button.
That's what he said. I am a good button pusher. Can I have the pumpkin brulee, please? Thank you.
Just whiskey, hot whiskey with some lemon.
Hot whiskey with lemon.
It's okay. I can make it work. My body's just stiff. Think of a banana.
Does it help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Always does. Every time. Don't ask me why. Why are you throwing up? You trying to eat all your food before your sister does? Now you can eat that.
We'll give it a bit.
Yeah, give it a second.
Okay. Woo!
But you make me hot. It's so close, I can feel it.
Kitty.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Boy, was my face red.